If you've ever wanted to do time-lapse photography, Chrome now has an app for that. As you're probably aware, the Chrome browser has apps that you can add on to give you easy access to a variety of programs. You simply go to the Chrome Web Store and make your selection. In this case, the time-lapse photography app is called Ladibug. It's spelled L-A-D-I-B-U-G. If you do a search for that, it'll come up with this Ladibug app by Lumens, and they also make different products like document cameras and things like that. Now yours will be a little bit different because I've already connected mine. That's why mine's green here. You'll probably have a blue button to connect this to your apps. Once you connect it to your apps, when you load up your Google Chrome, it will show up as one of your apps that you have. By selecting that, it opens up the Ladibug program. Now at first glance on the Ladibug app, it looks like a little overwhelming with all the buttons that are on there, but I'll quickly go through those and show you that really this is a pretty easy app to use. You may come up in the very first screen, it'll tell you that it needs to access your camera. So if your camera doesn't start immediately, then it'll tell you to go into your Chrome settings to allow this program to use your camera. So along the side here, this first one is allowing you to have the live images, but the next one that's a snowflake would be if you wanted to have this picture frozen. So at here, this picture is static, and no matter what, if I wave my hand or any of those kinds of things, it doesn't show up because the picture is frozen on there. The next button allows you to zoom into something specific if you were further away and wanted to look at something more closely. Keep in mind the quality of the picture does go down when you start to zoom in as well. If it's kind of dark, you can adjust the brightness. The next button is rotate if you need to rotate. And then if you want to take a picture of this particular image that's on your screen, you can capture that image and it will save that for you. But what I really like about this is the time-lapse portion for the Ladibug app. So what it allows you to do, first of all, you can give it a name. If you don't change it, the pictures will be saved with this and then the date after it. You can select when this is going to start, so you can have it start right now, or you can set it at a time. So maybe this was going to be something you're going to start 15 minutes later or several hours later, something like that. And then you can determine how often you want the pictures to be taken. So for example, you could have it taken every 5 seconds, or you can adjust this so a picture is taken every second. Keep in mind, the smaller that number there, the higher amount of pictures you're going to have to deal with. And you can set how long you want this for. And as you make adjustments to these, this will adjust down here as well. And then once you've done that, you simply hit start, and it will start taking pictures, and it gives you a little count as it's going there. It'll start taking pictures every 5 seconds, the way I had it set, every 5 seconds. And it stores it in this Ladibug portion, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So we've been going for a few seconds here. We now have 3 pictures taken. And so if I click this stop button, it will stop doing that. Now, where did my pictures go? If I go to this button up here on the top, this is for where my pictures are. So I've done a couple of things in here as far as saving pictures and doing some time-lapse photography already. That's why there's more than 3 pictures on here. So if you look at, I have several pages of pictures, and you can see these are the pictures that we just did right now. Now, if you wanted to take these pictures and do something more with one particular picture, for example, if I select one of the pictures and I'm going to double click on it, then it gives me these annotation tools. These were along the right hand side in the original frame that I showed you, but maybe you wanted to draw attention to something specifically, so you could maybe draw an arrow. You can add these items to it, or you could draw on it if you wanted to. And then just remember that if you are going to use this picture, then to save it, and then when you go back to your pictures, that picture will be saved with those annotations on there. So now if I want to take these and make a time-lapsed video, I would need to get these into something like iMovie. So this button down here in the lower left-hand corner allows you to select all. And a little bit hard to see here, but there are now little green check marks on all of these pictures and they've all been selected. But keep in mind, if I go back a screen, it does not necessarily select everything on every screen. So you might need to check that. I actually was playing around in here and some of them were already selected. So just be cautious of that. Go to each screen and make sure all the pictures you want are selected in this particular case. Once they're selected, in the lower left-hand corner there's an arrow and you can choose what to do with these. For example, this is the Google Drive if you want to send them to Google Drive, if you want to send them to Dropbox, or you wanted to send them to a file on your computer. So what I did was I made a new folder that described what I was doing, and I saved all of these pictures into a folder so I had ready access to them. Then to take this further and to get it into a time-lapsed video kind of situation, you would then open up iMovie, and then in iMovie you could insert the pictures and adjust the time and those kinds of things to actually create your video that you have. So reminder, with iMovie you should always start by going to File and choose New Project so that you can name the project and know where it's saving and those kinds of things with your new movie that you're going to make. So that's always a good idea to take care of that. In addition, in this case I would say that I wouldn't want a theme. I'd want to give this a name, and I would also make sure I took off the automatic transitions in between there, because I don't really want transitions in this kind of a movie situation that I have. And then you simply bring in your pictures. Now I again had a folder and I selected all my pictures and was able to drag them in to my movie that I had. And then I added some titles to explain what this was. And then a couple of things you'll want to do with your pictures. Pictures automatically come in at 4 seconds. And for a time-lapse video that's going to be too long. So to adjust that, if you select your picture and you go to this little settings wheel here, there's clip adjustments. And with clip adjustments, you'll want to change the duration of each picture. Now I put mine down to a second, but you may even want it to go smaller than that, depending upon how many pictures you took and how much you want it to actually feel like it's moving in that particular case. Another thing that you'll want to make sure that you take off in this particular case is this Ken Burns. The Ken Burns effect actually zooms in or zooms out, those kinds of things, and that's going to be a little bit strange. So for example, if I had the Ken Burns effect on this particular picture, it would be zooming in a little bit more. So I would instead put fit, and I'd make sure it said fit on here, and then it would no longer zoom. Now, if you have 100 pictures that you're doing with this you'll want to make sure that you select them all. Remember, a Command A is a quick way to select them all and make those changes to all of them at once, so all of the times are adjusted at the exact same time. So as an example, just to show you, I had set up my laptop by the copy machine, and I just wanted to see how much people are coming in and out of the library to pick up copies, and so I set it to run for, well, it's probably only a few minutes, and a lot of times you can't see a lot of action because there's not somebody at the copy machine, but occasionally you can look, even somebody walking by in the hall if you're watching the doors over there. So again, these are set at 1 second per picture, and the pictures were taken every 5 seconds. So that's sometimes if somebody's walking in really quickly, you might only see a glimpse of them and not really a lot of time spent on them. So this is an app called Ladibug, and it's a cool way to do time-lapse photography. And think of the ways that you could use this specifically for classes. For example, if you are creating something and you want to show your progress, but to actually take a video of it, maybe this was taking you several class periods. Well, you could do videos of, maybe every 30 seconds and took a picture of your progress. Think about if you were cooking, maybe in a cooking class or a science experiment. Instead of videotaping the entire experiment, you're just taking shots every now and then to show the progress. Sometimes they will actually set up cameras like this for entire rooms to show what's happening in a room and how people are moving around and what's work is being done in a room. And again, that time-lapse photography allows you to do that part of it. As always with iMovie, make sure you share this out and actually create a movie that if you're going to put this out so somebody else can see it. So if you're whether you're going to upload it to YouTube or submit it on Edmodo or something like that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to help. Good luck.